I'm just going to give it a moment. You can help me out by tapping the screen, if you wouldn't mind. It helps to move the live up the For You page. So when someone's just scrolling, they'll come across my page easier. Hi, Michael. How are you? I'm just going to give it a minute before I start. Itchy nose. Hello, hello. Stop by and say hi. I mean, I'll resonate with who I resonate with, I'm sure. And if I resonate with you, it's perfect. Thank you for the like. Appreciate that. Thank you, Tara. Although it could be Tara. It's one of those names that could be pronounced differently. So I'm going to talk about the celestial placements in the sky. So I'm going to cover some astrology, and then I'm going to also talk about the concept of embodiment. And if you're not sure what either of those are, stick around, because I do talk about what both of those things are to explain them, while also teaching about it. So I like to start with the celestial check-in, and this is using true sidereal, which if you're not familiar with, most of us who open up a newspaper and check out our horoscope or go online and use a natal calculator, birth chart calculator, they are utilizing tropical or seasonal astrology. That's what it's known as. And what that did was it essentially froze the sky, the placements, about 2,000 years ago. And then everything since then has been formed off of that time. So sidereal and true sidereal are other forms of astrology, and the way that they work, and specifically true sidereal is what I work with, is it looks at where are the planets in the sky right now? Where are they? And if they are, sun in Ophiuchus, moon in Pisces, transiting into Aries later today, that's where they are. And that's what true sidereal looks at. So that's the form of astrology that I use, is true sidereal. And then I package that with what I call Krystic astrology, which is just looking at astrology outside of distortions. So it's looking at what is the truth about the planets, what is the truth about the signs, and so on and so forth. So that's what I teach, is Krystic astrology. And the way that I've chosen to give everybody an introduction to that is to look at the current celestial placements and to share that with you from the Krystic astrology outlook. And I'm somebody who has a passion for finding out the truth. And so I feel like this is more in alignment with me, because I don't understand why I would say that someone was born in the season of Scorpio if the sun or moon, like, they're not in Scorpio, like the sun's not in Scorpio. That's to me, you should, if your sun sign is Scorpio, it should be because you were born when when the sun was in the sign of Scorpio, and for no other reason. And so that's how I use that. Now, many people will still default to, the traditional tropical seasonal astrology. But when you do check out your chart and you use a true sidereal calculator, which you can find on a site called masteringthezodiac.com, you can get a free chart there to see what your placements should be. And when you do that, be prepared to see most of your placements shift one backwards. So for instance, my sun was Sagittarius, and when it shifts one backwards, that would make it Scorpio, except that in true sidereal, it accounts for the 13th sign. So that makes me sun in Ophiuchus. And that's the other thing that I like about true sidereal, is that it incorporates the 13th sign. And I'm all about the truth. So we're going to look at the placements, and I'm going to give you a check-in, an astrological check-in of what to expect energetically for this coming month of December, since we're on December 1st. And so, yeah, I'm excited to share what the true placements are, when they're actually moving and transiting from sign to sign, and how that's going to affect us based on where the signs or where the planets and stuff are actually in the sky. So they're actual truth. All right, so we have the sun in Ophiuchus. We have the moon in Pisces, although it enters into Aries at almost at 9 o'clock tonight, my time. And I'm in mountain time. So whatever time that converts to would be the time when the moon would move from Pisces into Aries for you. We have Mercury in Libra, Venus in Libra, Mars in Ophiuchus, Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, and Pluto in Capricorn. So that's our current lineup of the planets and where they are. Like if you pull up the live sky and you look at where things are, that's going to be confirmed in your sky as well. So our energy overview, we enter December in a full fluid shift between realms. The moon completes its journey through Pisces and moves into Aries tonight. So the beginning of a month marks that new beginning, but so does the moon transiting into Aries. It's the beginning of the signs all over again. So it's that real newness that gets captured today on December 1st. So this is creating that transition from that introspective mysticism of Pisces to that activated clarity of Aries. And that's really powerful energy, right? So we probably went through something over the weekend, maybe that was maybe uncomfortable, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was completely fine. But whatever we experienced, whether it was something that came to us through our dreams or through our intuition or through an experience, we probably got some clarity. And now we're going to move forward with that clarity. And that's what that Aries energy does within the moon. And this is emotional clarity. Okay, this is because that's what the moon governs, is your emotional landscape. Sorry, I have a hair itch that's causing an itch. Hang on. Okay, that's better. So there is a subtle stirring in the field, like the breath before action. Take this moment to notice what is surfacing in your dreams, what your emotions are telling you, or what your subtle guidance systems are picking up. A new current is coming online. This is a really powerful beginning. Okay. So we have our moon in Pisces, which is transiting into Aries. So this is from dreamtime to direction. This is happening today, right? And so the Pisces moon this morning calls for quiet, reflection, and surrender. But as it shifts into Aries tonight, expect an inner spark, a call to initiate, to move, to act on what your intuition revealed. This is the divine rhythm. Feel deeply, then act with alignment. So I have two lives going, just in case you're wondering. And I also have birds out the window that may be distracting me at times. So if you see me going like this, it's the birds. If you see me looking up and down, it's because TikTok's down here and YouTube and Facebook are up top. So two different screens. All right, so we have Mercury and Venus also in Libra. So this is that daily triad that you're supposed to check in on. Where's the moon, my emotional landscape? Where is Mercury? Because those are my thoughts and communication. And where is Venus? Because that is my desires and attractions. So those are important energies to understand as you move through your day. Right now, we have both Mercury and Venus in Libra. So this is sacred communication and harmonized heart. Mercury and Venus continue to offer a stabilizing grace through Libra, balancing the head and the heart. Let your words be spells of peace, and let your relationships be mirrors of the divine. So it's pretty good energy for today. I just wanted to go over, I have some notes on Ophiuchus, just a little woodpecker, a downy woodpecker that landed outside. I just wanted to read a little bit about Ophiuchus because that's some interesting information as well. And it was in Ophiuchus on Saturday. So I already spoke about it then, so I wasn't going into depth on it today, but then I realized quite a few people might not be aware of the sun in Ophiuchus. Just hang on 1 second. Hi, Silver Ducky. How are you, love? How's everybody doing? How's your day going? See, sometimes it's good to slow down a little bit. I might actually have to do a search for it. Yep. Yeah. Sometimes change is good though, right? And if we look at it as everything that's happening is happening for our best to move us into alignment, to, you know, those challenges, like it's interesting. I definitely had the wounding of not thinking that I was good enough. And I ended up in experiences that taught me the reflection of that. And it, you know, and then when you work through that, it's good to work past it, but usually we have to go past it by having had experiences that were really emotional or challenging, and so it's unfortunate that it comes that way. Yeah. Just give me 1 second, guys. It's perfect. But yeah, are you doing okay now? Nice. Montana seems lovely. Like for someone that lives in Canada, Montana just, it absolutely seems lovely. Like kind of a little bit, I guess, maybe like Alberta, but maybe more like BC. I don't know. The mountains of BC, kind of. Or the mountains of Alberta, I guess, maybe. Combo of those. But it seems really beautiful there. All right, so I dragged out my notes on Ophiuchus. So the sun in Ophiuchus is the resurrection flame. It continues, right? Yeah. It is snowy. It is cold. It's exactly what I have out there. Although it did get it got warm today, and I think we also got some rain. So it got rid of some of the snow for us today, which was nice, at least in where I am in Alberta. So with the sun being in Ophiuchus, and remember, it's going to stay in Ophiuchus until December 17th. So we've got a bit of time with the sun being in Ophiuchus. So this is the energy that we get from that. The solar light continues to stream through the Ophiuchian gateway, dissolving false identities and activating the sacred DNA codes of timeless remembrance. You are not who you were. Let yourself shed. Let yourself open. This is Oversoul territory now. Trust what is unraveling. Ophiuchus is the 13th sign, the hidden sign, the serpent bearer. And it was long removed from most astrological systems, but in truth, it actually represents a sacred initiatory gate between death and rebirth. but between that shadow and that light, the human and the divine. So when the sun enters into Ophiuchus, it activates the deep alchemical fire of transformation. This is the season of the phoenix, is what Ophiuchus brings. So it's a time of releasing old constructs and reclaiming your divine template. So allow your sacred gifts to reawaken, let the fire refine, not destroy you. Okay, so this is about getting yourself into that alignment. So we talked about the moon in Pisces, which is going to move into Aries later on today. And we looked at that triad that we had, right? And when we're looking at the triad, we want to look at our mental and emotional. And we were talking about how Mercury being in Libra, which is your thoughts and communication, that brings that refined diplomatic communication because it's all about balance, right? This is Lady Justice energy. So it's about peacemaking. It's a perfect time to have conversations to reach a balanced and harmonious agreement between two people because of that peacemaking energy that's there. So it's great for journaling and it's great for speaking and communicating with your higher self. With Venus in Libra, so we have the double Libra energy there. This elevates beauty, truth, and relational balance. So again, we want that harmony, and it supports those sacred unions and truth-telling with grace, because we're bringing that feminine energy to speaking the truth, and that softness of that Libra can have. The moon in Pisces is just going to further soften the edges, creating an opening for divine listening. So now we have that listener coming to the table, being more invested in it as well. So we have this beautiful creation, like this beautiful energy that comes together that offers this sacred conversation between mind, heart, and soul because of where these energies are sitting today. So it's a powerful time to attune your inner dialogue to divine love and clarity, and speak those within your relationships. So the Krystic astrology, which is what I teach, and I will be teaching a course in March. Somebody needed this teaching drop. Hello, Crystal. How are you, love? I'm going to be teaching this March 20th, so Krystic astrology. We were never meant to navigate life solely through personality, right? The stars were not just stories. They were soul architecture encoded to guide our evolution. Oh, nice. Nice. Enjoy. I know how much you love decorating for the seasons. That's lovely. So the stars were not just stories. They were soul architecture encoded to guide our evolution. But the distortions of modern society and modern astrology, I should say, stripped away the deeper meaning and reduced your oversoul map to just a horoscope. And in Krystic astrology, we restore what was hidden. We read the actual sky, not the seasonal calendar. We reintegrate the 13th gate of Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. Oh my goodness. That seemed like to be a tongue twister for me. We reintegrate the 13th gate, the serpent bearer. There we go. We interpret placements through your divine design, not behavioral patterns. So this approach isn't predictive, it's liberating. It doesn't define who you are, it shows you how to remember, which is just beautiful. So in March, on the solstice, I will be doing, on the equinox, I will be doing the Krystic astrology course. I'll be teaching that. And in the meantime, we're going to be talking about it each day. Okay, we're going to be talking about the celestial alignments based on where the planets are in the sky at this moment, and what they actually mean, what their purpose is, how they're meant to inform our lives, and to help us to remember our truth and the truth of how we're meant to live. So that begins on the 26th. And we also have embodiment is the other thing that I've been really excited excitedly teaching today, or lately, not just today, but lately. I'm going to have a sip of tea. I want to just check in with everybody and see how they're doing. Mayuma! Oh my goodness. It has been so long. Hello, love. How are you? How are all your children? And happy birthday to your youngest. I know it wasn't that long ago, but it's nice to be able to say it to you, which is interesting. I'm always looking at the name. I keep forgetting that it probably feels more like I'm looking at you when I'm looking like this rather than like this at your name, but I just associate it with looking at you. It's funny. Hi, Carol. Look at all these people anxious for embodiment. I did the pause in between and boom. Oh, I'm so happy you're here too. TT. Remember all of that? Yeah, my tea has gotten to that perfect temperature. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit so it doesn't get it too hot for me. Oh, I love you, friend. I'm so glad that you're here. Alrighty, so we're going to talk about embodiment. The one thing that I was talking about earlier was the true sidereal and Krystic astrology. I gave us the celestial check-in. Did I do the check-in for the year? No, I didn't. Now I gotta look that up again. Actually, I don't. I know where it is. I know where it is. All right. Yes. We're good. I found it. All righty. So I have to do the look ahead for December. I forgot I was going to do that. I love you so much. You guys can come hang out in groups. I do have groups. You can come. You can chat to me anytime. Absolutely. Okay, so our celestial gifts that we have our celestial shifts that we have. Gifts, shifts, sure. The gifts are in the shifts. That's how it works. So as we begin a new month, here are the key true sidereal alignments to track. So on December 2nd, which is tomorrow, Venus moves from Libra into Scorpio. And what that means is that deeper relational truths are going to emerge and soul bonds are either going to deepen or dissolve. That is powerful, and that starts tomorrow. Now, Venus is in a sign for, let me see, I wrote it down somewhere. That's not going to be in that book. I wrote it down somewhere, guys. I wrote down how long the planets stay in each sign. I have it in my notes. But then I'm like, where did I put it? Where did I put that note? Oh no. Crap. I think, if anything, it might be in my other book, which I would have to go and grab, which I could, but anyway, we'll continue talking about it, and then I'll look for the information. Did you create boxes? Carol created boxes.
Oh God, no. No, I can go out if you want.
How are you doing?
Oh my God, you don't know how happy.
I love you. I miss you. I'm so happy to see you and be able to talk to you.
Yeah, I only have a picture in there, and I didn't reach my certain amount of people to follow me so I can see everybody. Everybody can see me.
We got to get you more followers.
I'm so happy to talk to you like this.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm just wanted to share one thing with you, and then I can leave the box. I'm just finishing the Oracle School.
I love it.
By Colette.
Yep.
And on December, it's going to be the last module.
Nice.
And then I'm doing the neurographic.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you. Those are very exciting courses. I did Colette's course like a few years back. But yeah, that's really exciting. Really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't wait until I put all together the oracle reading, all the things that I've been gathering from you and all the friends and sisters, and now Colette, and then I'm going to be learning more about neurographic.
That's going to be so awesome. So stimulating, right? To learn those new things. And whatever gives you that draw is something that's aligned to your divine design. And it's something that's meant to come out through you, through like either interacting with it is going to awaken some remembering in you. So it may not be something that you necessarily take so that you can then use on clients, or that you will even use. Sometimes the course itself awakens you to something, and that's what the shift is meant for. And sometimes it's something that you've been drawn to because you are meant to, you know, practice it or teach it, or, you know, it's just a key part of your role here. So those things that draw you, that really get you excited, those are things that you should pay attention to. So I'm excited to see what happens with the neuro stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait because I love to draw. I'm always coloring.
Yes.
Now that I'm doing my own drawing, oh my God.
I love it.
It was nice to talk to you.
It was lovely to talk to you too. Mwah.
Okay. Mwah.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to do anything to change anything now, though. I have no idea how to go back to single view. I might, like, let me see. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's okay. That's okay. If someone comes on and they know, they can more than certainly let me know how you stop being in boxes, but I'm not seeing where I want to push certain buttons, but I'm like, oh, if I push, no, that's co-hosting. We don't want to do that. And what is this one? I think this is if I wanted to invite people. Did you see the panel thing? I don't know if you got it or I got it, but we got it. Hi, Virgostine. How are you? Okay, so yay! We did it. I was like, I just found it. So I think you got it, but I love it. I don't care. We found it. I think I might not remember next time anyway where I found it. I'll be like, I think it was here, and it'll, you know, and I'll have to stumble around to find it anyway. I'll be like, is it layout, you know, whatever. But it's just that button. I was hesitating to press that button because it's the two people, and I'm like, I don't want to just like go into an invitation thing. So I was hesitant, but once I pressed it, that gave me some other options I wasn't aware of. So it's perfect. All right. December 2nd, we have Venus transiting from Libra into Scorpio. So this is deeper relational truths. And this is also soul bonds are either deepening or dissolving. On the 10th, we have Mars, who's currently in Ophiuchus, moving into Sagittarius. And this is that warrior energy becomes the seeker. Action turns towards truth. So you're going to be, from that moment, like Mars is your forward momentum. Like it's how you're taking action. It's that masculine energy. So it's going to be in that Sagittarius, which is like taking aim and then firing the bow. So you're going to be in truth seeking for sure. So then on December 13th, you have Mercury entering Scorpio from Libra. So right now we have both Mercury and Venus in the daily triad with the moon. Both of them are in Libra. One leaves tomorrow and then the other one leaves on the 13th, and they will both be in Scorpio at that point. I love it. It matches my outfit. It's so perfect. I'm all blue today. I love you. So when Mercury, which remember, that's your thoughts and your communication. So when it enters into Scorpio, this means that your thoughts are going to be probing. You're going to be digging in the deeps, in the depth, right? You're going to be digging into the shadows, and you're going to be having like really deep conversations. And these conversations are going to reveal soul codes. There's going to be a lot of healing, right? There's going to be a lot of healing that's going to come through that. Then we have on December 17th, the sun moves from Ophiuchus, which it's in right now, into Sagittarius, because Ophiuchus is a smaller sign when we're looking at how big it is in the sky, right? Traditional astrology took all of the constellations. So it took every single one of the zodiac signs and it made them an equal size of the pie. And that's not the case. When you look at it from the true sidereal sense, some seasons are shorter than other seasons, and Ophiuchus is one of those shorter seasons. So the sun only went into Ophiuchus on the 29th of November, and it'll be out of Ophiuchus on December 17th. So that means it was only in Ophiuchus for 19 days. That's a very short time, whereas other signs like Virgo is a bigger constellation, so it takes longer to traverse through there, which then just means we have more people born under Virgo than other signs because of how big the sign is, or we'll have more placements that fall in Virgo because of how much of the sky it occupies. So on December 17th, the sun enters into Sagittarius. A new solar chapter begins. This is about truth-seeking, vision refinement, and divine philosophy. Because Sagittarius loves higher education and truth-seeking and, becoming, it's that step into wisdom. And these are not just transits, right? These are actual initiations that we go through when the sun or these planets, right? These celestial bodies transit through the signs. They're initiations or gates. So each one is a key to unlock the next layer of your remembrance, which is very cool. So Krystic astrology aligns you with the living sky. When you learn to track these placements in the actual heavens, not seasonal cycles, you begin to see just how precisely your soul chose this path. This month we'll witness numerous or a few of the transitions, because think about it, the moon's transiting, every 2.5 to 3 days. So I didn't talk about all the transits of the moon because we'll talk about them as they're occurring. But the other placements, they change at a slower rate. I think that Mercury, it's anywhere from 17 to 35 days in one placement before it transits, because it would spend, say, 17 days in Ophiuchus, but it would spend, 35 days in a constellation like Virgo. And the same thing when we look at Venus. I think Venus is the other one. Venus is something like 18 and 75 or something like that. Like its numbers are even larger, and it gets larger and larger as you go through, and get further out with the celestial body. They stay in each sign longer. But we have a few of those transits that are happening this month. Like I said, between Venus, Mercury, Mars, and the sun, all transiting through different signs. So this month, Libra, multiple planets, not Virgo, that's not a planet. Venus and Mercury both move from Libra into Scorpio. And we have two things moving from Ophiuchus into Sagittarius, and that's Mars and the sun. Both of them transit into the fires of Sagittarius. So this arc is no accident. It's movement from balance to transformation to cosmic truth. That's the transit, the arc of transition that we're going through right now. So stay tuned because I will have enrollment details coming up about Krystic Astrology course when I get to that point. It's going to be on the March 20th on the spring equinox is when we're going to begin that course. So this is just me talking about all of this stuff because I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool to check in on the daily triad, see how it's going to influence how you move through your day, or it's going to give you light into some of the gates or initiations or exchanges that are going to occur for you because of where it's placed. Hello, guys. All right. That was a lot on that aspect of teaching. And now we're going to go into the second thing that I like talking about lately, which is embodiment. And today we are going to go even deeper into that information. So we're going to go into the truth of Oversoul Embodiment and also talk about phase 2 of Bridge to the Light and what it's preparing you for. So if you have ever felt that you're meant to do things with more clarity, just live with more clarity, with more direction, with more inner strength, more truth, this transmission is going to speak directly to you. So phase 2 is not a course, it's actually a transformation. Phase 1 helped people recognize when I did that course, which was a 6-week, 12-session course that is available as a evergreen. So you would go through the course at your own speed. You do have a group membership space where you can ask questions and connect with me and other group members, but that space is there. So phase 1 helped you recognize patterns, trauma loops, emotional imprints, and the separation from your higher intelligence. Phase 2 is the moment where you become the version of you that does not collapse into these old patterns. So phase 2 is the shift from seeking to knowing, reacting to responding, fear to clarity, survival to embodiment, ego-led to oversoul directed. If phase 1 was awakening, then phase 2 is becoming. All right, so let's talk about the oversoul. To understand phase 2, you have to understand what the oversoul is. Your oversoul is the highest expression of you. It is the you that remembers. It's the one that holds the blueprints of your purpose, your mission, your gifts, your timeline, and your destiny. Your oversoul is not trying to be created. It already exists. And embodiment is the process of making room for it. I have a ball that I can roll on my thing. I can massage my foot. Right? So when people say they want clarity, purpose, connection, or alignment, what they're actually asking for is to connect with their oversoul, right? So many people have talked about, wanting to communicate or speak to their higher selves. And I remember well before I woke up, like to the level that I am at now, but like quite a long time ago, I was so, I would have to say jealous back then. I was probably pretty jealous of people who, communicated with their guides or could hear, what they felt was their oversoul. For me, at that point in time, it was a bit of a foreign concept. And we all want that, right? Like I remember seeking it out myself. And it's interesting, but in order to do it, you have to do it. It's really that simple. So what you want is to connect with your oversoul or your higher self, because your oversoul and higher self knows, right? It knows why you incarnated. It knows your past. It knows everything about you. It knows you inside and out, not just through this incarnation, but every incarnation and every fractal of your soul, every fragment of who you are. Your oversoul knows that. So the oversoul speaks to you, but it speaks to you differently. And it's important to understand how it communicates, because when you understand how it communicates, you understand you understand how to tell the difference, right? The difference between what is coming to you that is from your oversoul, what may be coming to you from other interferences, or from your ego, right? And your ego is great at protecting you, and love your ego because it's with you for life, right? You're not destroying your ego. We're not trying to attain ego death, right? We want to have the ego sitting in the position that it's supposed to, which is the passenger seat. Perfectly hot tea. I love it. I'm going to turn it down one more degree, one more little bit so it doesn't get too hot. All right, so the oversoul doesn't pressure you because it knows everything about you, why you incarnated, everything, right? Yes, exactly. You need to love every bit of yourself, and accept every bit of yourself, right? And there's many of the decisions that we made were decisions that were made because we had no idea who and what we are. We had trauma and inability to manage our emotions because we weren't taught how to manage our emotions. And sometimes we were demonstrated the exact opposite of how we should manage them. There's a whole slew of reasons why we did the things that we did, not beyond manipulation, distortions, lies, confusion, all of those stuff. He's crashed out right there. He's so good. And he's so happy with our home. Just so happy. He's going to enjoy our run around that we're going to do after this. Get him outside for a bit of I can't say the word. I want him to stay asleep right now. Aw, I'm glad you're here. I can show you because you're on the TikTok. He's just having a big old sleep. So the oversoul doesn't push you. It doesn't pressure you. It's not manipulating you. It's not operating through fear. It's not doing any of that. When your oversoul is speaking to you, it's clear, it's calm, it's resonance. Like you can feel it in your chest, the resonance. It speaks thoughts that arrive fully formed. It's not your oversoul's up there going, so what should we do in this situation? I don't know. Geez, I wish I had a big brother I could speak to or someone else I could contact to give me some instruction on what to do. No, your oversoul this is what we should do. This is the truth, right? It's very clear. And it's not emotionally charged. It's not making you feel scared or anxious or it's grounded. It feels very peaceful, safe, like just very resonant. That's what that resonant energy is. So its instructions are simple, they're clear, direct, precise, however you want to call it. That's how the oversoul instructions are. They're not going to be, well, I think we should, but maybe, I don't know, maybe we should do this, but maybe we should do that. I don't know. Like they're not hemming and hawing. That's your ego. That's your ego that's afraid to do what it's supposed to do. And it's trying to protect you. It's trying to protect you from embarrassment. It's trying to protect you from imposter syndrome. It's trying to protect you from lack. It's trying to protect you from some boogeyman that it's made up, right? So it's doing what it thinks that it's right to do. It's doing things so that you fit in. It's doing things so that you stay a part of the collective, because we don't want to be separate from the collective inherently. So why most people can't hear their oversoul? Why can't most people hear their higher self yet? Right? And this isn't because you're not worthy. It has nothing to do with worth, because everybody can do this. Everybody can hear their oversoul, right? It's just because the nervous system is still wired for survival. As long as your nervous system is worried and fearful and dysregulated, and your heartbeat is your heart's not centered or grounded, you're not grounded, you are chasing something in the future or fearing something, as long as you're doing all of those things, you can't hear it. You're running too fast and in too many directions, and your oversoul is present in the present. It's not out in the future. You know, you don't have to run to get to your oversoul, and you don't have to wait for your oversoul to catch you. So, and you're not delving into the past because you left her behind somewhere, right? Your oversoul is right here with you in this present moment. But most of us aren't in the present moment. Most of us are thinking about tomorrow, thinking about next week, thinking about our bills, thinking about Christmas, thinking about the past, thinking about something someone said to us, thinking about something someone did to us, thinking about, I should have said this, right? Like we have all kinds of things going on in our head. You can't hear because of all the noise. So the nervous system being out of whack and wired for that survival is the human body remembers pain. The human mind remembers patterns. The human identity remembers limitations. The oversoul remembers truth, right? It remembers the truth. So the phase 2 is the process of shifting your inner wiring so you can follow the truth rather than the conditioning that's inside of you. So you see the pattern come up, you address the pattern, and then move it aside so that pattern no longer is going to show up in your life. And yep, exactly. You just have to be in the present moment. It's so true, right? And I would tell people that you just have to do it. That's the other part. Like Nike had it right when they said, just do it. You have to do it. You can't sit there and wish about a connection with your oversoul and do nothing to attain it. You actually have to sit there and listen, right? If you're never pausing to listen, you're never going to hear it. So that's a huge part of it. So what happens to the ego when we go into embodiment? And embodiment is when we seat our oversoul in this, you know, like we connect and we take the direction from the oversoul. So what happens with the ego? And I mentioned it briefly before, and I just said that we put ego in the right spot, right? We move ego to the right position. So the ego is not the enemy. The ego is your safety system. And it only becomes a problem when you let it control your life. Because the ego reacts from the past. Your oversoul is leading you from the future that it knows that you're going towards, that you want to go towards, that you designed in this incarnation. So imagine if the person that's driving your vehicle, and I'll use the 401 because Mayuma is very familiar with that highway. Imagine if it's the person in the back seat of the car looking out the rear view mirror that's driving the car down the road. And the way that they're driving is they're saying, well, we just passed a car now on the right-hand side, so that means there's going to be another car on the right-hand side. Well, there was a car on the left-hand side, which means there's definitely going to be a car on the left-hand side. We're going straight, which means we're going to continue to go straight. That's what your ego is doing. Your ego is looking at all the things that have happened to you, and it's trying to make decisions so that the things that it didn't like, that didn't feel good, don't happen again. And the things that you really desire and covet, that you get them. But it's doing so by saying, oh, if we do this, that's going to happen because that's what happened then. And we're just going to keep going in that direction, right? So you want, when you start to embody your higher self, your oversoul, right? When you start to embody that, then that's when your ego stops driving and it gets in the passenger seat, beep, beep, right? It gets in the passenger seat and you're being directed by the person that knows the pathway that you've made, right? So your ego moves into, yeah, exactly. It's the ego is a baby with temper tantrums. Right? The ego can be manipulated. The ego can be led astray by society. Nice. Actually, yes, I see 444 because this one, my iPad has never changed the time. It's still on Ontario time, which is cool. That means that I get to see the Ontario time every time I log in, which is nice. So the ego stops driving, it moves into alignment, it softens, it relaxes, it trusts, and then it just follows. Embodiment is not ego death. Embodiment is ego realignment. So you're just aligning it. So the person that should be driving the car is driving, and the person that should be in the passenger seat is in the passenger seat. Okay. This is one of the most important teachings for people to understand in phase 2, right? Is the understanding of your ego and the position that your ego is meant to be in versus the oversoul, and what that translates to in your life and in your mission and in everything that unfolds for you. So what does embodiment actually look like? So embodiment's not a mindset. It's not just your belief system, right? It's a way of living, because your belief system is abstract, right? This is embodiment. This is like actually living as. So it's the entire way of living. It's like, it looks like having clear boundaries, clear decisions, no collapse, no self-betrayal, no seeking permission, leading yourself, owning your energy, speaking from truth, responding instead of reacting, moving with confidence, trusting your inner yes, releasing your old identity. It's a bunch of things. But at the end of the day, embodiment is when you stop trying to be the highest version of yourself and you start living as the highest version of yourself. And the way that I give it is like this. If you want to run a marathon, you have to put your running shoes on. You have to start walking. You have to start running. You have to start running further and further distances. There's a step that you have to do to get there. The part that I'm getting at is you have to do something. You have to embody it. So if you're somebody that, say, wants to own their own company, you have to start a company. You have to start doing something under the name of that company that is providing a service or a product to the public. That's what a company does. You have to learn certain things. Maybe you need to learn about advertising or accounting or marketing or sales or whatever. Product design. There's lots of things that you're going to learn in the steps along the way. But you have to be doing those things. Those things aren't just going to happen, right? We don't just sit all spiritual, meditate our way to, a company. I could sit here all day and meditate, and maybe I'll see some change. Like maybe some people will purchase things, but if I don't actually do what they've purchased, I won't get in. They won't pay me. They'll want it back, right? There's lots of stuff like that. Hi, Stevie. Have a great day. Love you. So it's important to understand that we're supposed to be living as. That's how we make the new earth, is we live as we want to on the new earth. We do it by creating it, and we create it by embodying it. And we have to do it one person at a time, groups at a time, collectives at a time, society at a time, right? Like it grows. So that's what we're doing. So in phase 2, we work through oversoul communication, oversoul embodiment, ego realignment, nervous system recalibration, emotional recoding, identity upgrades, self-governance, shadow integration, decision-making from truth, releasing false timelines, rebuilding your inner architecture, living from clarity, and honoring your higher self in the body. It's a lot. But this is the highest level of personal transformation that you can walk. This is you embodied as your oversoul, your higher self. So this aligns with people that it aligns with, and they'll want to join if this is lighting something up in you, or you're feeling a pull, or you're feeling that relaxation, right? Like it's just a calm, resonant feeling, that really grounded feeling, right? And then you'll know, and that's that. You'll feel the yes in your body, or you'll feel like that pull in your chest, that little like magnetic feeling in the chest. That's when you know. And until then, it's not the time. So, and that's fine. that's fine. We'll get there eventually, right? The stoner fairy. Hello, and hello, Diamond Girl. How are you doing? So phase 2 begins on January 9th. This round will be recorded and turned into an evergreen version. So if you're not ready to do the live version on the 9th of January, you can always wait for the recorded version, which will be approximately 6 weeks later. Although I might no, it would have to be till afterwards. I was like, wait a second, I could start. No, no, that's putting too much on my plate. See, you have to know, you have to make those decisions. So if you want to learn how to live from your oversoul, and if you want to stop collapsing into patterns, if you want a life led by clarity instead of fear, then you are meant for phase 2. If your body is saying yes, then stay close and choose that. But at the end of the day, just hang around and you're going to learn a lot from me in the area of Krystic astrology and in the area of embodiment and all of that, because it's the stuff that I'm going to continue to teach and talk about because it's what I do. If you're looking for some other stuff, there's multiple things that I provide at my or on my website, and I also have a nonprofit called Hugs for Homeless, and I have 5 backpacks here. My partner has 5 backpacks, and I'm going to be distributing mine into the community. And I'm pretty sure on Friday I'm going to be sitting at a booth. They're doing a light up the town, one of the towns nearby. So I have a friend who has a booth, and she's going to let me sit at her booth. So I'm going to be doing that to bring some awareness out about Hugs for Homeless, and see if I can get some donations, because we are looking for donations. It costs anywhere between $100 to $120 Canadian for each bag. But these are vital necessities for those in the community. Every dollar counts, every dollar helps. Never think that it's too little, or you're too little, or you're just one person, so what can you do? You can do a lot, and at the end of the day, the only thing that you can do is what you can do. But we have, a hug can change a life, absolutely. So we are thankful for those who are donating, and very appreciative of those donations. And it's something that I think is going to be it's going to be so impactful, and I think that it's going to be amazing. Aw, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. So yeah, so that's what I'm up to. I do have 2 more books that are coming out in December. The first book is Tiana and the Phoenix Who Refuses to Burn. That is book 5. In the Unlikely Heroine, Chronicles. Sorry, your question paused me. I was like, I'm going to answer your question, but I was trying to finish my sentence as well. I am based out of Alberta, Canada. So what I do at this point in time is help people in Alberta, Canada, specifically the Edmonton and outlying regions of Edmonton and Edmonton, Alberta. And I hope to at some point grow and move across Canada and then eventually worldwide. Like, it would be really nice to see this movement take shape and move across the world. But no, I am not helping people in Africa. I'm sorry. There's so much that is needed at home right now. We have lots and lots of people who are homeless, and it is something that is getting larger as prices continue to rise in Canada. So I'm going to focus my energy at home. If that answers your question. All right, I'm going to do a quick little run over of what we talked about today. Anyway, the 2 books, that's what I was saying. The 2 books that I have, you can. I appreciate you asking beforehand as well. So the first book is Tiana and the Phoenix Who Refuses to Burn. which is book 5 in the Unlikely Heroine Chronicles, which follows the 4 girls as they interact with all these mythical creatures. They have a little bit of humor and a lot of fun, and it's just girls being unlikely heroines. Then we have the other book that I'm publishing on the 21st of December is book 6 in the Luminous Scroll series. And this is one this is one that's called Infinite Wonders. And it's just to really allow children to acknowledge and play with the fact that we are connected to more than just ourselves. So it's just really opens up their experience of the world. And it's like, that's been bugging me the whole time. My glasses need to be cleaned, in other words. So to do a little recap, besides those besides those new books that are coming out in December, let's just do a recap. So the recap is, we were talking about the celestial remembrance and oversoul embodiment, right? So we're talking about the two things, the sky and bridge to light phase 2, but really embodiment. So when we were looking at the true sidereal stuff, we looked at the sun in Ophiuchus, which is anchoring the resurrection path, still illuminating the laters that no longer serve. The moon in Pisces, which is shifting into Aries later today, is initiating a wave from introspective dream time to aligned action. And both Mercury and Venus being in Libra are restoring harmony in word and relationship. Mars in Ophiuchus urging sacred will to rise and act. And Pluto in Capricorn is dissolving old authority and rebuilding internal foundations. So we explore how the heavens are offering that breath before action moment, a window between what has been sensed and what now must be claimed. And that's taking that action when that moon moves into Aries. So we're not only closing a lunar chapter, we're preparing the field for the planetary shifts of December. Each will unlock deeper resonance and remembrance. So first we have Venus entering Scorpio on the 2nd, which is soul bond refinement. We have Mars entering Sagittarius on the 10th, which is action guided by spiritual truth. We have Mercury into Scorpio on the 13th, which is soul level conversations. And then we have the sun in Sagittarius on December 17th, which is a new solar cycle of vision, fire, and destiny. So these aren't just astrological events. They are divine instructions coded into your body, your field, and your future. From this foundation, we transited into the Bridge to Light teachings, focusing on oversoul embodiment. Put them together and you have overbodiment, oversoul embodiment. We clarified that phase 2 is not a class, that it is a soul reconfiguration, because we're shifting from that ego-led into oversoul directed, from survival mode to cellular clarity, to speaking truth, to becoming the truth. We explored what the oversoul is. It's the you that remembers, how the oversoul speaks, which is clear, calm, direct knowing. Why many can't hear yet is because their nervous system is still coded to fear or survival. So they're running around in altered states. So they're not present in the present moment. And they're also, when your mind is really busy, you can't hear anything. When your body's moving all the time, you can't hear stuff. And then we talked about what happens to the ego in embodiment, which was not destruction, but repositioning. And we also talked about what embodiment actually looks like, which is clear boundaries, aligned choices, identity upgrades, and energy sovereignty. And then I started with an invitation at the end of it, which is, if you want to join me in those things, Krystic Astrology class opens March 20th, and the Bridge to Light phase 2 is January 9th. So that's all that we talked about today. And now you're caught up. Now you're caught up. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to let you go. It is just about 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. And that's what time I like to take my, my guy for his little zippy-doo-dah-day, using every word I can to say the W word without saying it. But anyway, I like to do that as early as possible because I don't want it to be really out at dusk, considering all of the animals that are moving on the property all the time. But I will be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow I may be a little bit later than 1 o'clock Mountain, 3 o'clock Eastern, because I do have to go in town. So absolutely, ma'am. I do have to go in town tomorrow, and I have said that depending on what time I leave, also depends on what time I come back, and they are talking about the potential of snow. So tomorrow I might be a little bit later, but we'll talk about stuff. And remember, tomorrow, the big switch of Venus going into Scorpio. So we'll see what all that energy relates to, and how that works within the daily triad when we switch that energy. And I love you too. All right. I love you guys. Have a beautiful afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow, approximately 1 p.m. Eastern or thereabout, depending on if I'm late getting back from town. And I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Go check out the website. I missed that last comment.